What's up guys, MGH here and welcome to a different video today. We are going to be discussing the most underrated players in the Premier League. Now, I know FIFA 15 is getting a little bit stale at the moment. I know FIFA 16 is right around the corner and everyone's very excited for that. So I'm definitely looking to bring you some different content every now and again. And we're going to start off today with this video. So up first, we have Schmeichel from Leicester City. Now, obviously, you guys know another very famous Schmeichel. And that is, of course, his dad, Peter Schmeichel, who played for Manchester United, one of the best goalkeepers of all time. Kasper's not quite that level, let's be honest. But he's definitely an underrated goalkeeper. He's made some vital saves for Leicester already this season. Last season, he was definitely a vital part of their defensive performances that kept them in the league. But Kasper Schmeichel is definitely one of the few goalkeepers in the league that I think deserves a bit more credit. At right back, guys, we have Janmaat from Newcastle. Now, this guy really impressed me last season. He has been a perfect replacement for Debuchy once he left Newcastle last season, who, let's be honest, was quite a big part of their team. And now that he's at Arsenal, part of me thinks that maybe we should have got Janmaat instead. Debuchy's been injured a lot, so maybe Janmaat was actually a bit of a blessing in disguise coming in for Debuchy for Newcastle. Now, Newcastle struggled last season, but Janmaat for me was one of the most impressive players in that squad and definitely underrated. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw this coming, but the first centre-back is going to be Smalling. Now, a lot of people will say, well, how can he be underrated? He's playing for Manchester United week in, week out at the moment. He's their first defender on the team sheet, right? I think he's underrated. I don't think he gets enough credit. Smalling is a very, very good defender, and I think he is one of the most underrated centre-backs in the league. He's tall, he's strong, he's pretty quick, and he reads the game very well now that he's getting a little bit older. As for the other centre-back, I really struggled. I asked you guys on Twitter, and Reed popped up a lot, and I agree. I think Winston Reid is a very good centre-back in the Premier League. He's 6'3", he's pacey, he's strong, and to be honest, guys, he is one of the better defenders at West Ham, let's be honest. And I think he deserves a lot more credit because he's done very well for them over the years. Now, at left back, we have Monreal from Arsenal. He is the only Arsenal player in this video. I thought I might as well just share that with you guys. Monreal, for me, has been one of the most surprising and most improved players at Arsenal over the last 2 seasons. I think Monreal keeping Gibbs out of the team is a big statement, and I think Monreal as well, going forward, has been very, very good for Arsenal. So, once again, another one of those players that consistently performs well and is keeping out other good players of the team and isn't getting much credit for it. So, you've got to give him credit. The first central midfielder is going to be Michael Carrick. Now, I don't think 79 is fair in FIFA. I think this guy, when you watch him in real life, he controls the game, he manipulates time almost, he gets the ball, and he somehow finds a pass every single time. I think Carrick is just the pass master, and if he doesn't get an upgrade in the next game, I'm going to be absolutely shocked, because I think he deserves it. But we're not talking about FIFA, we're talking about real life. Without Carrick, I think Man United definitely lacks something in midfield. But now that they've got Schweinsteiger, those two are definitely battling for similar positions. But Carrick is definitely one of the most underrated players. Not only one of the most underrated midfielders, one of the most underrated players in the league. Next to him, I've gone with McCarthy from Everton. This guy, wow, he is so good at the moment. He's one of the best defensive midfielders in the league right now, if you ask me. Every time I watch Everton play, he's in the middle of their midfield, winning tackles, passing it out. He's running forward and scoring goals. Last season, he got a couple. I remember the game against Manchester United last season when he went up pretty much through the defence, completely outpacing them and outmuscling them and putting it in the back of the net. And he's still only 23 years old, and he deserves way more respect for the job he does for Everton. Now, at the attacking position in midfield, we've gone with Sigurdsson. Now, this guy has been popping in goals and assists since he joined back to Swansea from Tottenham. Obviously, he was at Swansea originally. This guy is brilliant. He really is, I think, one of the most underrated players in the league. And I think Swansea will be one of the surprise teams of this season with him at the heart of things going in the midfield. I think Sigurdsson deserves way more credit for what he does for the league. And I think that all those assists and goals last season prove that point. Possibly the easiest choice of the episode so far, and that is Mahrez at the right wing position or right midfield. Leicester, wow, they're looking really good right now. They've won 12 of their last 14 games or something crazy like that. This guy here has probably made the best start to the Premier League out of all the players in the league. He is incredible right now, unstoppable against West Ham. He was weaving in and out of their defence like they weren't even there. And it was incredible to watch. And I think Mahrez is definitely a player to watch this season. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of goals from this guy from that right side. He's left-footed, so he bends in, or cuts in, I should say, and he will score goals from there. And probably one of the most underrated players this season so far. Another easy choice, guys. On the left side, we've gone with Montero from Swansea, who tore Ivanovic apart against Chelsea. I thought Ivanovic looked like a 2-year-old. Okay, maybe that's a bit steep. He looked like a teenager who was just starting the game. He has so much pace. He's pretty strong as well. He knocks off defenders, no problem. And I think he could be one to watch as well. I think him and Mahrez on the wings, two very, very well underrated players. And the last position in the team is going to be Vardy up front for Leicester City. Now, he may be 27, but I feel like he still hasn't hit his peak yet. I think we could see him playing for England in the next few years or so. Now, the reason I say that is just because he's so hard-working, and he's only 70 rated in the game. Surely that's enough to tell you that he's underrated. I think this guy could get a massive upgrade in the middle of FIFA 16, maybe up to 74 or so. And I think he's going to score a lot of goals for Leicester. But now that the first 11's completed, we're going to get into the subs and the reserves. So basically the players that I think are still very underrated, but not the most underrated. And then we'll look at the team. So I will go through these quite quickly. We've got Fabianski. We then have Dan from Crystal Palace. I thought he was very good last season and also very good so far this season. So again, another very underrated defender, but not quite up there with Winston Reid and Smalling maybe. We then have one of the older players in this episode, and that is Kolarov, who at left back is keeping Clichy out of the team most days for Man City. And then moving back to Crystal Palace for another player, we have Jedinak here, who I think is vital for Crystal Palace. He was dearly missed against Arsenal. They needed him in midfield. We then have Shelvey, who I think has been one of the better players this season so far. We then have Naismith. Now, someone I openly have taken the piss out of. Martinez likes him. He deserves his spot in this episode. He's definitely underrated. And then we have Chadli out on the left side for Spurs. Last season did very well, scored quite a few goals, and I think he is one of their better players. We've got Adrian in goal, a very underrated goalkeeper for West Ham. He's already got an inform this season in Ultimate Team. We then have another Everton player, and this time it's Coleman at right back. I would have put him in the first team, but he's not that underrated anymore. I think we've seen how good he is over the last few seasons, but again, maybe not quite enough credit has gone his way. And then on the other side, we have Bertrand. Of course, Southampton had a very good season last year. I think they're going to struggle a little bit more this season, but Bertrand was part of a very good defensive team last year. And now we have another Southampton player. We've got Wanyama. We then have another Tottenham player. This time it's Mason. He's just suddenly blossomed into a fantastic midfielder. Another Southampton player. I don't know what to say about this one. This one was suggested on Twitter, and I do agree. I think Davis is one of those players that, you know, you see him playing for Southampton, and he does really well, but no one talks about him. No one talks about Davis. Who talks about him? We now have James Milner, who has moved to Liverpool. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments about this because recently he had a bit of a mistake that's gone viral. You know, he smashed that ball basically out of the stadium. But for me, Milner is one of those most versatile, underrated players in the league, and any team would have benefited from him signing for free over the summer, and Liverpool got him. And moving on to the last player, guys, and that is Gomes from Swansea, Boney's replacement, and actually I think he's done very well considering how much pressure is on him to take over Boney's role. And there is the team, guys. Schmeichel in goal, Monreal, Reid, Smalling and Janmaat, Carrick, McCarthy and Sigurdsson in midfield, Mahrez and Montero on the wings, and Vardy up front. What a team that is. And then you can see on the bench and on the reserves, we've got some great players there. Really hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have enjoyed this, let me know if you'd want some more by leaving a comment. Give me any ideas you would like me to potentially build squads with. You know, I could do something like the worst players in the Premier League or the best players or whatever. Just let me know what you'd like. Career mode's still going, and you know, it's just another one of these random uploads that will go up every now and again. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.